There's so many places to find love. Sometimes it's really far from where you live. Maybe another continent, another community, another town, another country. But because you have a love interest there, you have to keep in touch. Today on AmaSays, we are talking about building intimacy even in a long distance relationship. Hi, I'm Ama Ablode, and this is AmaSays. Thank you so much for watching. Two of my friends are here as usual. Hi, Isaac.
Hello.
I usually call you Amoya. It's weird that I'm calling you Isaac.
Just have to add it, mister.
Oh. Hi, Mr. Isaac Amoya. And my good friend Koba. Hi, Koba. Nana Koba. The man in love. He's getting married in 2023.
Hey. she's planning the wedding already.
I've planned it, and I want to use this opportunity to make a humble request to you and Tosin. Please, I would like to be one of the best ladies. I don't want to dress in dress. I want to wear a tuxedo. Thank you very much.
No, what makes you think we'll do a white wedding?
It's you, Koba. It's you. Because it's you. We are definitely getting into a church. We are getting into a chapel. We are getting into a parish. There has to be a church involved, a cathedral. I don't think it will be the National Cathedral though, but you're going to be in a church. Yeah. So that's my humble application. Thank you.
Yes, madam.
So, like I said, I really want us to talk about long distance relationships and building intimacy. You know, it's easy for somebody to just say, oh, I'm in a long distance relationship. Now, long distance here isn't only when it is intercontinental. I'm talking about you live in Tema and your partner lives in Kaswa. You live in, that's cross country already. You live in Accra, your partner lives in Tamale, your partner lives in Keta.
There's even more pressure in that one because you feel like you should be able to travel
anytime.
Anytime, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You're living in Ghana with me, you can't see me. Yeah.
Or you live in Ghana and your partner lives in Lagos, in Kaduna State, in Kano, in Enugu. So, yeah, that's long distance. Or your partner lives in the UK, in Germany, in Japan, in America. In Japan, that's already 9 hours ahead. How do you still build intimacy? How do you still get to know each other enough to say, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? And sometimes even it's already marriage. Marriage has already happened. So how do you build that marriage and make it successful? With intimacy, right? Because intimacy is very important in every relationship.
True.
Let me start with you, Isaac. First of all, why would you even encourage somebody to do long distance? Is it even worth it?
It's worth it. I mean, love is worth it. So wherever you find it, you make sure you keep it and work at it. So, I mean, I'm not sure it's really about the distance, but the willingness of the two to work at it. So, I mean, I wouldn't discourage anybody. I mean, if you think you love the person and the two of you are, I mean, for lack of a better expression, reasonable enough to make it work, I mean, give it a shot.
No.
Yeah. I didn't plan to be on a long distance relationship actually.
Are you now?
Yeah. There were a lot of women around me and I was hoping to choose one out of them. But the vibe just wasn't there. Like there are people I talk to, I realize it's not the same. You're not on the same level. Some I talk to and I feel like, okay, I could like this person and I realize she doesn't like it that way. So you just have to move away. And somehow, some way, I met this lady and she wasn't living in Ghana then, and even now she doesn't live in Ghana. But the vibe was so strong, you know? Even on the very first day, the vibe was so strong till now the vibe is really strong. And from then we've been talking and we've been dating, yeah.
Stronger than Africa, it's a movement.
Like I just don't get it. People around me didn't have the same vibe with me, but this woman living far away has that vibe with me. So I went on with it. I didn't plan for it, but I'm in it and I'm okay.
You know, I think one reason I would encourage a long distance relationship, I didn't think that I would ever find myself in a long distance relationship. But one reason I would encourage that is because You know, I used to have a wedding show called The Perfect Wedding.
I remember.
And I think my first episode was on finding the one, finding that person you want to walk down the aisle with. I had on PG Sebastian, who was a really good counselor,
Yeah.
professional counselor. So we talked, I asked that, is there a soulmate, like that one person for anybody? Then he said, how do you define that? Is it geographically? Is it by race? Is it by what? And because there are some people who would never move from their town, their small town or their big city. So is that loved one across the sea or somebody that they have to find around them? How do you define that this is my soulmate? So that made me realize that you shouldn't limit yourself, especially if you're looking for that special somebody you want to be with, because that special someone could be across the sea. That person too could be next door. It could be anywhere. So don't set certain rules and regulations. I had some, like I didn't want to date anybody I was in the same class with, somebody I was in the same neighborhood with. And
Why?
I just felt like, at the time, I felt like, okay, otherwise you become the neighborhood gossip. Everybody talks about
She
you.
felt like everyone would know her business.
Everybody would know
And when
my
they
business.
fight,
And
we'll
I-
all see.
Yeah,
And we're all
when
waiting to
my
see.
And then when you're in the same class with the person, it restricts how, I mean, for somebody like me, it will restrict how carefree I could be.
Yeah, I can
Because,
imagine.
for example, when teacher asks me a question, I'll be so terrified about even trying, because I don't want to try and fail, and then my love interest will know that I'm a
And then
bomb. I'm a bomb. And so I wanted that thing, you know, where I have my own space and it's only the people here who know me, and I get to tell you what I feel you need to know. So you don't have to know everything, including perceptions and wrong information. So yeah, that was what made me. But then again, that was when I was way younger. Now, I don't think I have to restrict myself like that, because sometimes that person you end up with who will love you well, you love them so much, could be your sibling's friend, could be even your classmate, your childhood friend, and all
Yeah.
that. So there's really no restrictions. The same way the person could live miles away from you. Maybe you might need 3 connecting flights to get to them.
A lot of work.
You know, it's a lot of work, but maybe that's what it's going to take. Anyway, if you look past all the people close to you by proximity, and the person you like is way far apart, so you decide, I want to give this a shot. How are you going to build that relationship and make sure that there's still enough connection and intimacy like you would get if the person lived next door or the person lived 5 minutes away from you?
Well, for me and my woman, we are Christians, so it actually works for us because she's far away, and we try to inculcate what we would naturally do here. For example, I tell myself that when I get married, I want to be that kind of man who prays with his wife, who reads the Bible with his wife and all that. And even though she's far away, we still do that. So we've made it a point of call that every night we pray for each other. So like this night I pray for her, the next night she prays for me. So it's turn by turn. And we've realized it's actually helped us grow in our relationship because she's always praying for me, she likes to know my goals and my aspirations, so she can actually make it a prayer topic. The same with me as well. And sometimes when we have fights as well, imagine having a fight with someone and you have to pray and bless the person. You know, how do you do that?
How do you do that?
Yeah. But that's where we found ourselves. We had a fight some time ago, and she was so mad at me. I corrected her about something, and turns out women don't like being corrected. Yeah.
We do. It's just how you go about it. Like, you know.
Yeah, so she wasn't happy about it. After I told her what I told her, I said, okay, I'm busy now, I'll call you later on. And when I called back, the way she was talking is not how she usually talks. She was all giving me closed answers. Yes, okay. I'm like, are you still mad at me because I corrected you? Okay, I'm sorry I corrected you, but in future, I'll still correct you again if you do something wrong. Yeah, it goes both ways. You can correct me, I can correct you. Don't be angry if I correct you. She said, yo, she's heard, okay. But she was still acting that way. I said, okay, let's cut. I'll call you back later when you're much better. After about an hour, I called her again. she was still acting that way. And because she's in Canada, it's like 5 hours difference. So it was around 12 o'clock. I just needed to sleep. I said, okay, if that's how it is, let's pray. It's your turn to pray. I could tell the prayer was so hard for her because she was bawling inside. She was so mad at me. But you have to pray and say, God should bless me. Yeah. You're like, dear God, bless Koba. I was just laughing while she was praying. And she prayed and I said, amen. I went to bed. After about 30 minutes, she called me back. She was like, are you sleeping? I said, I was sleeping, but I'm awake now. They said, oh, if you're sleeping, it's fine. I said, no, I'm awake now. Let's talk. Let's talk. And she said, okay. And I asked her, you want to do a video call? She said, yes, let's do a video call. I'm going upstairs. So she went upstairs to do a video call. The call ended around 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. And I had to go to work in the morning. But it was a good one. We chatted, we talked for long. And we didn't even bring up the fight. It was the next day at work, during my lunchtime, she called me again. And then she spoke about the whole fight. She was like, you yelled at me, you did this, that. I said, okay, I'm sorry. But just know that if you do something again, I'll still correct you. This is who I am. And you need to live with that. So even though we're not face to face and we don't live together, we still act like we are together. Yeah. You know, I don't hide anything from her. Yeah. She doesn't hide anything from me. Yeah. And I think it helps to build an intimacy when you are so real with that person like that.
I see that one of the things that I'll touch on it more later, but I realized that long distance relationship actually builds better communication.
I think so too.
Like, you know that you are apart, like it takes extra effort to see each other physically.
Yeah.
So you know that you need to do more talking. You know, anytime you leave something lingering, a lot can happen. You are not there to stop the person, hold the person, so a lot can happen if you let things go.
And she's a fine girl. If I leave her, people will take her.
Chama.
If I leave her, people will take her.
Look how he's worried
She's so fine.
Yes, I've seen her. She is indeed beautiful. Like, hey, where did you sleep the day you found her?
The jackpot. And you won't believe how we met. It was just so simple, you know. We went to work and we took a group picture at work, and then we took some individual pictures as well. So there was this picture I really liked, and I sent it to my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law we are very close. I used to live with her and her husband, my brother. So we are very, very close. I was like, hey, Connie, Charlie, see this picture. Just send to your friends and tell them I am ready. And it was like a joke, you know. And she took it so serious and she sent it out. The next 20 minutes, my phone kept on buzzing.
Africans.
She was sending me screenshots. I was like, what is happening? What is happening? She said, Charlie, you be hot cake. So there was somebody in her office who had seen my picture and was like, oh, I have a sister who is also single. I think she might like your brother. I said, okay, let me see her picture. I saw her picture. Like, wow, okay, she looks good. Let me see another picture. Send me another one. They said like 2 or 3 pictures were all nice. I said, okay, send me a number. I'll talk to her and see. They said,
my man.
Because, you know, they say men are moved by sight. What they see.
oh, Charlie, what I saw was good. What I saw was really good.
No.
What I saw was really good, but I need to confirm. I didn't want it to be like a picture flick, you know. About 3 or 4 pictures showed that she was really good. I said, okay, let me talk to her. And when I called her, I was at work. We were having a karaoke night that day. And when I called her, it was a video call. I wanted to see her face for real. I saw her face, she was looking okay, and we were chatting even during the karaoke. Some ladies would have gotten pissed off and said, you don't have time for me. Call me in a party or something. But she didn't feel that way. She was like, are you busy? I said, no, I'm at work. We're having a karaoke night at work. I can go outside to talk. She said, oh, no. Are you singing? You sing, let me hear. So I went to sing, and she heard me. And we had a vibe on that level. Even while the karaoke was going on, I was getting her involved in the whole karaoke thing. You know, she asked me a few questions. She said, okay, we'll talk later. And from there, it's been good.
You were able to involve somebody in Canada in a karaoke happening in Ghana.
Yeah. The world is a small village, Charlie.
Where's the crown? Please, let me put it on his head. How do you advise building intimacy?
I think it's about consistency. The ability to be in your life every minute of the day. And at that point where if your friend asks me, where is your madam? I know that, okay, you should be at work at this time. By this time she's going home for lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's,
You need to know their
Yeah.
itinerary.
Yeah.
I mean, you wake up and you tell you what's up for today. Oh, today I'll do this. I'll do this. Yeah, I'll do this. I'll do this. Okay. And then, you call about 5 hours later. You know that you should be somewhere around this place, or you're going home. And I think that is more intimate for me.
Yeah.
And the ability to open up about everything. I had a bad day. I had a good day. This guy annoyed me. All those things are part of the building of the relationship. So, and with the technology now, I think it's even cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. To talk more and be in the life of everybody, irrespective of the place and the location.
Yeah. Talking about technology, if you want to be in a long distance relationship, you really need a good Wi-Fi package, a very good internet package. You need it. You need a smartphone. You can't do that with. You need a smartphone with good camera because you need to be. You need video calls are life saving, so that you can get more intimate with the person. This makes me wonder how long distance worked 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Letter writing.
In fact, 20 years ago, internet was bad in Africa, so we still had something. But 30 years ago, because I know people whose parents were in long distance 30 years ago. Like, they were married, and then the man traveled for greener pastures, and then the mother and the kids are back here.
My parents went through that.
Like, imagine, and we didn't even have, mobile phones were not a thing.
No.
So they had to use landlines. And it was not so many people had landlines. Before my family had a landline, you had to rely on another neighbor who had a landline.
Yeah.
So your loved one abroad will call them, and they'll come and call you that, this person has called you. So you have to come to our house. So the person is going to call back in 10 minutes or 5 minutes. So make sure you are back in this time. Now you have to rely on your neighbor's good mood.
Yeah. True.
Good mood. Because if I'm not in a good mood, nothing is going to make me leave my house and go and look for you and tell you that you have a call on my telephone. And at the end, I'm paying the telephone bills alone.
And you come and talk later.
You come and talk, and I'm waiting to make a phone call. You can't even talk well. Today, because of mobile phones, there's phone sex, there's so many, we'll talk about that later. The things you can do on your phone, but look you have to use a neighbor's telephone. We drink wine here, so yeah, you can drink that. Is it your neighbor's living room that I'm going to say, what are you wearing? Imagine me doing this to you. I'm kissing your neck, babe. Moan. How are you going to? How are you going to do? Your neighbor is standing there, and maybe their kids are also around. You have to just keep it all in. Technology has really helped to make long distance relationships more sensible, more reasonable to do. But before then, I don't even want to dread. And so I see that there was a lot of disappointment in such relationships. Most of them didn't survive.
I think in those days, their commitment level
was higher.
I wouldn't say it was higher, but it's different. Because obviously there are people who were in long-term relationship and no work. And I have an auntie, Sister Vivian, whose husband was in Belgium at that time. And I remember the first child, Manosua, when she had Manosua, she was very small and the father left. The next time the father came, she was like in the 13, 14, 15, thereabout. So the first time she saw the father in the house, she's not seeing any man
in the house,
in their space, apart from the ankles.
Wow.
And I don't know, I don't say she was traumatized, but she saw it as very strange. What is this man doing in our bed?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And those days, Brad Kwame went away for so many years. We all knew Auntie Vivian's husband is outside. And you don't see her doing anything. Maybe we are too young to see. But I saw that their commitment level, they are now together in Belgium. The commitment level was very high. Unlike our time whereby a lot of seeds are planted in the minds of people.
Yeah.
The husband is there.
And she's doing something. But I think the pressure was even higher at the time. where when you're married and your husband is abroad, everybody's looking to you. They're suspecting everything. Any man you are talking to, 10 seconds more, hey, who's that? We need to monitor this person. Because like there's a lot of policing around the woman because you know that your husband is not here. Yeah. So we need to make sure you're not cheating on your husband. And so, and the woman too, but I think that the women too had more reason to be committed because they're like, hey, if I mess this up, when my husband gets his papers, how am I going to relocate? You know, so because you're thinking that there's milk and honey flowing there, so you want to go there. But today, there's a lot of development in our own country. You're probably with a woman who has a lot happening for her. Yeah. In fact, relocating means she's giving up a lot of things to move there. So building this relationship is really a decision she has to make that, oh, I'm choosing to do this with you. Because there are probably equally, men who are, up to the task around her that she could choose. And when she chooses you, it means that she really wants to do this with you. But that also means that this woman could also decide to be reckless here and not really mind. Do you ever feel like, being in a long distance relationship would make you have certain expectations that might not be met when you guys eventually live together? Isaac?
So let me go a bit personal now. I am divorced. In my first relationship towards the marriage, we did not spend a lot of time together. So kind of intercity long distance. And I feel if we had that time together, I would have known more about her and she about me. And I would have, in my mind, I would have known what to expect from her and how to handle her. So long distance relationship is a lot of work. And if I want to be in any now, I'm going to put in a lot of effort. And I wouldn't miss any opportunity to be together with a person. I mean, if I have to spend some few days to fly, I'll do that. If I have to pay for you to come over, I'll do that. Because you don't get to know the person very well, even though you spend a lot of time together cyberly.
Yeah.
It's different from...
It's not like when you're in the same space.
I understand what you mean, yeah.
I mean, you're at the restaurant, the person, you observe the way the person is, the choice of food, the way the person is talking, the way waiter or waitress, all those kind of... I mean, there's kind of things that triggers the person.
Honestly, it's scary hearing it from you, especially if you hear that the person just said, I'm a divorcee and we didn't spend a lot of time together, even though it was just intercity. And so when you meet it, you're like, hey, you are 9 hours by time code, 9 hours ahead, difference. Hey, you're like, yeah. Because if a 30-minute flight could get you to the person, and even that, wahala day. Let's drink some wine to that.
I think it also depends on the people who are involved. I usually tell people that if you're going for a partner, always go for someone who is like-minded, It's true to say opposites attract.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a man, you're a woman, she's a woman, that will attract, yes. But when it comes to marriage, I think it's good to have a similar foundation and for you to be like-minded in most things. It doesn't mean you should be the same, but it's good if you share some common interest and yes, there is some principles underlying that both of you share. When you are with someone who reasons like you in a way, you have a certain foundation together, it really helps in the relationship to bring both of you together, and it's easier for you to get to know when the person is bullshitting you because both of you have some things in common. My woman and I, we've not been together for so long, but each time we talk, I feel like I get to know her more because we share the same foundation of Christianity, and it even goes deeper than that. Like her godmother is friends with my pastor.
Oh, no, that's news to me, but that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So like everywhere you go, it's like there is always something connecting us.
Then the wedding there won't be easy. The wedding, the wedding. I'm busting with Sicily and coffee. I'm jam so.
So the way she was worried about marriage. Hey! sometimes we'll be in church and she's preaching and then she look at me and you go like, come back.
Mario.
Then she will continue preaching. I'm like, I never yelled there. Yeah, so like I believe it's good when you both share a similar foundation. It helps you to bridge that gap and get to know each other faster. Then also you just have to trust as well. It's a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, no matter how much time you spend together, you will never know the person completely.
I agree.
You need to take that leap of faith
Yeah.
and trust that, okay, I'm heading in the right direction. And if in the long run you get burnt, you get burnt. You learn and you
Yeah,
you
that
go.
part is where I am adjusting my mind to that. It's okay to get bent sometimes.
Yeah.
Nobody hopes to, but if you do, well, shake it off and move on.
Life goes on.
You know,
Yeah.
and like you said, you can never know a person so well because even as individuals, we change with time. The person you are in your 20s, you could be a different, you will be a different person in your 30s. Even in the 30s, 31 is different from 35 and then 39. So every time what you're faced with and the version of you that comes to the forefront to confront that situation. So you will never know people enough, but you just need to know the basics to work with. But my concern with long distance is that there's always a need for extra effort.
That's so true.
If you want to get into a long distance relationship, whatever you are doing with somebody who just lives 5, 10 minutes, 30 minutes away from you, you need to do extra. You need to communicate more. You need to talk about every little detail. Don't leave things hanging. Their mindset wide. There are certain things you might not want to discuss with them. Like, oh, some love interest, somebody is sending me some cues because your partner's mind might be racing while like, oh my God, I'm not there. What if he's confronted with this temptation and he's not able to hold himself and blah, blah, blah. A lot of things go through your partner's mind. If they are calling you, the period, like you said, the schedule, you need to know your partner's schedule. And I know that this is really your break time. I'm calling you, you're not answering. I'm wondering what is happening. What's wrong?
Yeah.
If you tell me you are sick, I'm very worried because I'm not there to express how much I care for you.
Yeah.
All I can do is, have you taken your medication? Maybe you should go and do this at the test. You should get up and go and eat. And sometimes you feel like it's not enough.
Yeah. So true.
You feel like it's not enough. And you have to constantly remind yourself that it's okay, this is how far you can go, and it's okay. And you also need reassurances of your partner's affection towards you.
That is so true.
So, as a lady, if I'm in a long distance relationship with you and I come to tell you, coach, I went somewhere, I met this lady, the lady was looking at me, she came up to me and was trying to get my number. But I mean, how does that make you feel? Do you think I'm being honest? Or actually, I've been told in the first place. Why you cry?
Sincerely, I'm glad you are telling me. It will be two things. I'm like, good. You will tell me everything. And number two, I'm like, yay. This is the danger I'm facing every day. Oh, this is the temptation I'm facing every day. And I'm not there. You're thinking of how to establish your presence in his life so that anywhere he's working, people will know that he's not a single man. So they don't know that there's somebody there, you know. You're thinking of how to do that, how to show that. Because you know, when you're living together or you live close by, you probably drop an earring somewhere. You can't even tear your hair and put it somewhere. Somebody should know that there's a woman around here. Now, if it's long distance and you don't even have visa to go there, how are you going to establish your presence there? So it makes you worry.
Nothing good. I can't think women leave when they come to your place.
Yeah, you
Just
even
take
leave
off
a
your
scarf. I mean, sometimes you don't have to even tear your hair, but you know, when you're combing your hair, some will come off and you take it there, put it under the pillow.
Believe it or not, on my birthday, my woman, like she did a show for me. Like it was wonderful. She was able to order breakfast for me and my friends at work. But the gift she sent me, the gift she sent me, when I looked at the gift, I was like, is this gift for me or for you?
You can smell her on the gift.
Yes, you represented our gender well.
She sent me a mug. And on that mug was my picture and her picture. And then She had written to cover the one I love, and she sent it to me, and she said, "Please take it to work, put it on your table." I was like, "Why are you marking your territory around me like that?"
Yes, because marking territory. Look, people are living in the same house, Kwambo, and then there's attack. And then this one intercontinental. You lie bad. You need to leave some hints.
Hey, the market will be easy.
You need to mark your territory. Okay, no, this one I think is just a natural order. Even animals do that. Yeah, even animals do that. I think one of the cats, wild cats, I think lion,
Animals, the dogs,
they pee.
Yeah,
they
they
will
all do
pee
that.
on their territory. So you know that this demarcation is for me. If you cross, you're trespassing.
You do that as men.
I don't think I do that.
Ouch! I think men do that too. I think men do that.
Maybe-
Like, you know, for example, you're with a man, okay, and he knows that maybe you're a student or you work somewhere, and there's some guys be there. The day he comes to pick you up, or he comes to your place by chance, and then he sees that guy is there. That's the day, that man that doesn't like PDA. That's the day he will kiss you in public. He wants people to know this one is mine, so that nobody you're marked. You know, that's what he wants. So that if you are playing games with any of them, the person will react. So he would know who the person is.
And do it in there.
Yeah, and do with the thing there, or you know, his nanas are okay. So this is the office boyfriend.
Yeah, well, maybe we do, but I think it's more intense with women. I think.
Yeah, I think no, it's just that women. Ours is just so obvious.
Yeah.
Like it's just all over the place. Like you can tell that this is an obvious marking of territory. But
Yeah.
you men, you do yours and you pass it across like I'm just showing affection. And she's like, oh, he loves me so much, honey. He's marking his territory. He just wants everybody to know that you are the one.
Have you seen that video where a man and his woman went to the mall and the man was holding her hand, and the woman thought he was actually holding her because he wanted to show the whole world, "You're my woman."
He's trying to avoid you entering
Yeah.
shops. You know, and so all those things can happen. All those things can happen. So I also, I always encourage virtual dating. You know, like a date night. Virtual. Okay, when I say date, it's like, oh, but that's what you're. I mean, date night, virtual date night. So just like if you and the person were living in the same city, you would arrange to go to a restaurant somewhere,
You dress
up for all that. You can do that virtually. In your own home, to his place, just dress up like you would have dressed up for a date in town. Get yourself a good drink, some food.
So he wears a
talk.
nice shirt.
Yes, you should dress up. He's dressing up.
I assure you, he's wearing the boxes.
It doesn't matter because the thing is that I'm also most likely wearing something else downstairs.
So he's at the top.
you know.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
So you dress up and then talk on phone and what are you having tonight? I'm having this. I'm drinking this, and talk about the things you would have talked about on a date.
That's interesting.
Maybe review your relationship.
Okay.
Are we on the same page? I ask this question a lot.
I mean, it's very important.
Yeah, are we
Yeah.
on the same page?
No one gets deceived.
Are we on the page we were last month? You know,
Yeah.
you want to be sure that things are going smoothly. Is there anything that just anything we would have had on an actual date night, like in person? Carry that and put it on a virtual platform. I think it's very important. It helps you build an intimacy like you would build when you're here.
That's interesting.
The PS1 has to be very intentional.
You actually have to.
That one just true.
You
You,
really
need
have
to
to.
be intentional. You need to sacrifice your sleep when you are hours.
Tell me about
apart.
it. Tell me about
I
it.
think that.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Children are listening.
You need to change your schedule.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
need to
yeah.
change your sleep schedule because somebody is going to be. It's going to be daytime somewhere. It's going to be nighttime somewhere, and you need to make time. You just need to make time. Sometimes your friends might be like, "Oh, you no longer spend so much time with this because you have to be on the phone. You can't be on the phone in a nightclub or in a lounge or in a pub. It's too noisy, and you need that time together."
Yeah.
I think it affects your private lives too. You know, because
It affects
because
it affects
you can't be
everything.
partying because you know that every time we need to talk
Yeah.
maybe 2 hours every day. If you were not in a long distance, you probably would talk less on phone because you spend more time seeing each other, even if it's not every day of the week. You know, in the week, we are going to see each other 3 times at least. The rest, we are on the phone. So we can be on the phone for 20 minutes and it's okay.
Yeah.
But if you're in a long distance, every day you want to have some good amount of time talking on the phone, knowing what's happening in your partner's life, and then also getting to understand the system they are in.
True. There are actually some times when we call each other and we don't talk. Like I'm at work, I'm seriously working, and she's also working, but we just call each other.
And the phone is just
It's
there.
just
You're
there.
like,
And I was like,
yeah.
what are you doing now? I'm like, oh, I'm trying to sort this out. Oh, okay. What are you doing? I'm responding to a client's mail. Okay. And then we are working. And my friends and my colleagues are all walking around the park and say, hi, hi, hi. I know she's using that to check all those who are around me, checking the girls in the neighborhood and all that.
Why?
But
When do you draw the line between being understanding and being suspicious?
I think trust helps. That's why trust plays a very good role because it's harder to trust when you're in a long distance relationship, especially if you are the kind that already has certain concerns. Maybe you've had fears in the past based on past relationships or other information and content you've been consuming. You're already on an edge. So when you're dealing with somebody in a long distance relationship, they need to do extra to get you to trust them. And you also need to do extra work on saying, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt and I'm deciding to trust you anyway.
true.
So it's all about trust because there are going to be things that will make your mind wants to start racing, especially if you're an overthinker. But you need to always remember to pause and hold yourself from going that far and say, oh, well, it's okay. It's
You say you're
okay.
an overthinker?
I am an overthinker. I am a recovering overthinker. I'm recovering. I'm in a really, really better place right now in terms of that. I'm holding myself. I'm like, I remind myself constantly that, Chale, you have only one life. Yeah, things might be this terrible or this good. I'm choosing to work with the exact information I have instead of the one I'm creating in my mind, the possible scenarios in my mind. So I'm reminding myself always to not set my mind on a wild goose chase. Sometimes they are wild goose chase, sometimes they are real concerns. But until they really surface, they're just overthinking.
I think the trust also grows better when you are an open book, when you try to involve each other a lot in what you're doing. Whether it's major, whether it's minor, just involve each other and try to know what's important to each other and get involved in it. She knows all my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's spoken to some of them. She's spoken to Amma before.
Hi, Tosin.
It appears women are not able to distinguish between what's important and what's not important to them.
How do you mean? How do you mean?
What are you saying?
They want to know everything.
And
For men, there's some of the information you give us and you're like, okay.
Anyway, that's true. I've noticed that women want you to tell them everything about you, but then they want you to find out everything about them.
I didn't think of it like that, but I think it's true, at least for me. It's not because I want him to find out per se. I think it's been more of me being careful because I'm a talkative. I like to talk. So when I'm holding back something, it's not because I don't want to talk to you. I really care about you, but because of the fears I've had, I'm afraid. I'm like, oh my God, will this person use this against me or not? And so it makes me hold back a bit. So when I'm beginning to feel more comfortable, my defenses are down, my walls are broken. Get ready for parrot season, because I will talk your ears off. I'll talk your ears off.
I'll give you an example. A woman can ask you, what's your favorite color? But she may not necessarily tell you, this is my favorite color. She would rather show you some dresses she likes, which are a particular color. Show you some other things around, which are a particular color. Like, it keeps on going that way. And she expects you to know that, oh, I have seen this pink or this blue dress about 10 times, which means she likes blue.
Which means like, yeah.
But she won't tell you I like
Because
blue.
that's how we know that you're being
You're paying
attentive
attention.
towards us. You know, that's how we know. But you know, I realized that long distance relationships also help you. It's a good way for you to know a person's intentions, real feelings towards you. No, it takes a lot of effort. If somebody that is not into you, you would know.
You know, only
Like,
time
because the effort involved, no. Hey, do you know what it means to be putting down, cutting off 2 hours of sleep
you know, easy, Charlie.
every day? Hey. So that's how you know that, okay, this person really wants to know me. This
Yeah.
person really wants to give this thing a shot. But if they're just playing, they will go. But somebody too will say that, well, maybe they are lonely people and they're just trying to while away time with you. But until when? Because if there is a lonely person who wants to waste your time, you are just for the road, and then they are still looking for the other person. So it's just a matter of time. They'll find somebody else and discard you and move on. So it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the last one, which is sexual intimacy. We've talked about that of celibate people. What about people who are sexually active?
Okay,
How do
over to
they
you.
still satisfy themselves in that regard?
You pointed at me,
You
so I'm
point at
pointing at
him.
you.
So it's your turn. Lead it, and then you get support where necessary.
But for me, I think sex should not really be about doing something that is amorous or something. I mean, for example, somebody can be drinking water and say, "See, the way I'm pressing the water, when I catch you, eh?"
I will press your. I'll press your.
Send some signals. Okay. I mean, and kind of preparing the person.
That's a vibe killer. See the way I'm drinking this pure water. Now that is a vibe killer. I don't want to. Gee, you couldn't think of anything else.
You are pressing the water. Catch you, eh?
Jeez, you get an ice cream instead and say, you see the way I'm licking this ice cream and I catch you, eh? That's all we need to know. Pure water, you see I'm drinking. Hey, I don't person will pie no.
And an orange.
And an orange. No. The image in my mind when you said orange, you see how some people, I wish I had an orange here. Don't throw it.
Orange is a very violent fruit. See? It's a very violent fruit. Like why? First you have to peel or you cut it. Then when you're sucking it,
I said before you suck it, you have to press it like this so the juice will come on top more. Then.
And nobody looks good licking orange. You have to open your mouth.
I don't remember last time I tried that. Orange is not my favorite fruit. I don't like orange at all. The least of my food.
I'm not an orange
Even when
person.
I'm thinking of juices, I don't really
You love
think of
oranges,
I like apple, and that has a story behind it. My dad introduced me to apple, and my dad was not a bougie man, too, very local man, but anytime he went to town, which was very few times because my dad worked from home, he would, when he went coming back, he would get me an apple. So, like,
I guess because you
it
were
got
the
me
apple of
really
his eye.
interested. I guess I never thought of it like that, but I love that man so much. I miss him.
I know.
So I think
do.
it's all about trying to relate some form of activities to create some picture in the mind of the person.
Yeah.
And,
To have them so they can carry you all the time.
Yeah,
Because sometimes you're like, hey, wherever they are, look at the number of women and men they are seeing all the time, and they are sexual beings. When they are horny, what do? You can't help them. So, in the long distance, when the question of using a phone to sexually satisfy your partner, is that safe to do? Is that okay to do? First of all, is it okay?
Personally, I don't if I'll do that because I am afraid anything can happen. I mean, it's just a device.
You don't want to wake up and see yourself on some X-rated site.
I mean, just a device. I can lose it in the next car, and someone crash it open and have access to my videos, and I feel like it's too dangerous.
I
You know when you
totally
said
understand
having
you.
access to your video, I'm sorry, but you know, you said you asked me if I was overthinking. My mind went somewhere.
You were-
I was just thinking of what we could possibly see if that happened. Yeah, but then somebody would say, well, so let's do a live session, you know, so there's no recorded.
it feels
Where
weird to me
it's
though.
stored on my phone, where it's stored on my phone. So when I lose my phone, we are at risk of somebody, or somebody gets hold of my phone, then we are at risk of it leaking. So maybe, you know, we need to do
You
use
see, as you are talking,
like as we are talking now, and you're doing it, there some of the video calling apps like FaceTime and all that. But somebody takes a screenshot of video and all that, you can tell you are notified. So somebody's like, oh, why don't we use such platforms?
the truth of the matter is that I think it also depends on the personalities involved. Because I've ever spoken with someone who told me, "Oh, you don't come across as somebody who wants to have these kind of crazy things, not want to explore those kind of fabric."
You never know people. Don't say that.
When you say this, someone might be thinking, I know the guy very
No,
well.
not you. No, I don't know him. I don't know Isaac in that way. But I'm just saying that you don't know people. You know, so that person that you are currently so close to, there was a time when you didn't know them so well.
Yeah,
You
that's true.
didn't think they could do certain things. And now they're close to you. That introvert. Now you see the way they can whip their thing and you're like,
Are you the
oh,
one?
are you the one?
So I think it depends on the personalities involved. I mean, and most of the time it's you have to test these things with small cards. Like take this step, the person responds in the way is okay. This person
Yeah,
reminding
I can get you there eventually.
small. But like you
You
take
can't
a-
just get up one
yeah,
day
you
and
take a
ask
step
for.
and the person kind of gives you some resistance and blocks some ways. Okay, this appears to be a no-go area.
What if the resistance is just initial gra?
Oh, I mean, women are some way, so sometimes you have to go one to do
The
some.
initial Graham,
Yeah.
there's a reason behind it.
Tell us, please.
Because you don't want to be judged wrongly too. See,
Okay.
we all like the thing, oh, we all want it.
Yeah.
But if you ask me and I give you immediately, for a woman's mind,
You feel like you're cheap.
you start saying that, so that's how you give it to everybody who asks for it.
Okay.
So she's like,
I need to be careful.
I need to be careful. I need to take some time before I get there
Don't
with
you think
you.
that defies
Sometimes
your
too.
trust early on?
Well, no, but the thing is that before you get to that level of like that intimacy, like sexual intimacy in a long distance relationship, trust plays a very big role, I believe, because you need to trust that you're with somebody who is not going to take, who's not going to mess you up, because that's a very delicate thing to do.
Yeah.
It's very delicate. So you realize that I actually spoke to a few people about this before I came on this show. People I know who are in long distance marriage and relationships. My interest in this whole thing came up when I saw a post on Telet Moms with somebody saying that her fiancé asked for this, she turned it down, and so because of that, the relationship is over.
Hey,
Yeah, which is very weird because I was like, well, maybe there's more to it, but let's just work with the information she's provided. But she said that she cannot do that with somebody who's not her husband. So this is a woman who feels that when you are my husband,
I can do that.
I can do that because, and I think it is because she thinks that husband has more stake in your reputation than a boyfriend does.
I agree on that.
Yeah.
I also agree too.
Because if your husband takes a video of you like, and it leaks, it affects him also. There's a shared risk.
Oh, yeah, and even if it comes out it's your husband who leaked it, he's the fool.
He's the fool here. That is an understandable. That's one time when I think society will agree that you are a victim. But when your boyfriend leaks something like that, nobody wants to treat you as the victim you are.
Yeah.
They still think that, but what business did you have doing that to a boyfriend? But if it's your husband, they're going to say, you are a bad man. Why would you do this to your wife? So
I think I understand her in that sense.
because I think that is one part that really suffers in a long distance relationship. Sexual satisfaction. That is if you are not against fornication and you guys do that. then you are going to be lacking in that regard. Technology can give you a little bit because you feel like, oh, maybe strip tease, let's have phone sex and all, but there's danger to it. Because on this same technological device, people are going to, that's when you are also vulnerable of your nudes being put out there, and nobody wants to be in that position. So that is a point where a lady might say, I don't want to do this. Or a guy, I don't know if a guy would ever say, I won't do that.
Personally,
If the lady asks first
it's
that,
not something I'm
babe,
very
can we do phone sex? I'm horny and I need you right now.
I mean, at the end of
Strip
the
for
day,
me.
I think
You won't do it. She's giving you free show, you won't do.
why we don't get choice. What do you mean by that? we don't get choice. Eh?
But again, look, see. I think that we women, when it comes to sex tape being leaked or nude leaking, we always feel like the damage is on women more than it is on men.
It depends.
Unless the man has a very tiny thing, remember? That's when he's worried or he did a very whack job.
Okay.
That's when he's worried. But if it's impressive and it leaks,
That's my CV out there.
that's your CV out there.
Okay, but let me give you another side of it. You know me,
Yeah.
and you know the role I play in church. Like,
Yeah.
imagine if my sex tape leaks. what would you think of it?
Okay, so
Like, maybe in the night before, or it leaks tonight, and then the next day you come to church and you see me singing in church, and I'm praising, and I'm
Hallelujah.
actually quoting scriptures, and preaching and all that. How would you feel at that moment?
Before you know, you're not even aware something that's leaked.
No, and everybody who's there knows that it has leaked. Like I said,
Charlie,
yeah.
that's
Yes, I'm yeah.
that's a difficult place to be. That's a very, very difficult place to be, because no, these things happen for that church member. Obviously, it proves the hypocrisy you are in, that you are a hypocrite, because you are one time preaching fornication and the next time we see this. But then if you are quick on your feet, and if it was truly not a slip for that Christian brother, then that's the moment the Christian brother is like, well, I look good in it, so my CV is out there, and so what? And so what? Then he's going to carry an and so what attitude to face this. But if he is truly repentant and remorseful of that, that's when that thing affects him even more. And then he wants to do something about it. I've asked a friend, I'm like, hey, have you ever wondered what if you ever saw, like, maybe you're on a porn site or watching a video and you see somebody a friend's video, would you call the friend and talk? My friend was like, no, that's it, you don't say it. And I'm like, no, I think I will want to tell the person, because sometimes, what if the person doesn't know that somebody even took a video like that? Now everybody has a phone. One time that you are so pressed and you want to pee and you're wearing your jeans trousers for women, and you go and stand by that gutter or by that wall and you take it off and you are peeing and somebody takes a video of you and put it on some site. If somebody say, I'm doing a research, so I go on that site, research, I go on the site and I see this lady that I know, or my friend, won't I tell you? Shouldn't I tell you?
I think you should. For me, I think you should. I don't know about others.
A gentleman from Tamale.
Oh yes, I remember that story.
I saw one lady in that video.
That you knew.
And I think I did something I want to describe as silly now.
Yeah. Now
But
you
I
look
told
back.
the lady that I've seen this video of you, and apparently she had already seen the thing. So like, yeah, that's what happened. Then
Yeah.
I mean, it's out there, so there's something I can do about it. I mean, in
But-
hindsight,
But
No, I think that if it is public knowledge that
Yeah.
like if it's already news that something like that has leaked, then I won't mention it to you, because I'm believing that by now you know. But let's say there's no news around, like you're my friend, and I've seen your video somewhere, but I haven't heard anybody say that. Like, it's not news. It's not in the news that something like this has happened to you. Then I'll call you and say, hey, I saw something like this. But if it's already in the news, like the Tamale one, I think it was even on Joy FM's Super Morning Show. I remember at the time, yes, I heard that
Tamale,
news.
that guy,
Yeah. the Tamale saga. So I was like, oh, so for something like that, come on, it was a national news, major news. So I wouldn't mention it to you again. I would actually, that's when I'm really good at pretending. What are you talking about? When you say, oh, I'm like, what? Really? Something like that happened? Oh, I hope you are feeling better. You have seen it.
But when things like this happen and maybe you are the victim and you're against it and you write to those sites, can they take it down?
But they can take it down. But the thing is that these things, people have private copies. So they take it down, somebody uploads it. They take it down, somebody else uploads it. It's already out there and it's not going anywhere.
Unless you have some serious IT guy who decides.
Who can rub it off everybody's, every individual photo, video, phone. It's gone.
That's
You cannot always hold it back. You can't always hold it back. So I think when it comes to intimacy, when it comes to that, there's so much at play. In a long distance relationship, you want to satisfy every area, including sex, but you need to be very careful. I'm not a kind of person that tells people don't ever do this. No, I don't do that. That's not my style. I always, because I'm like, I'm a realist. Look. Because I know that people will do it. Look, nudes have been there since, as we are talking, somebody is taking video right now. It will still be
Somebody's giving somebody instructions. Stand up.
Yeah, stand up, shake it. I can't see well. Spread it small. I can't see it. Oh, go back and turn on the light. Oh, go back small. Can you wear beads for me?
No, but I think there are some things that are reserved for the young.
No, but they're adults too. They are older people too online, my dear.
Some things that, I mean, you should be.
I understand you, but you see, that's how you see it. Some people don't see it that way.
No, but like I was saying, people would still do these things. So in doing it, just take some precautions. Like I say, I'm giving this advice because I know that just because we say it can leak would not stop people from leaking. HIV/AIDS has been there for long. People are still having unprotected sex. So, yes, and COVID has come. Even during COVID, we're still being reckless, despite the rules and regulations put there. Because we're humans, we will still do it. So if you're going to do things like that, just take certain precautions. You are dealing with another human being, so you can't trust them so much. But at least have a little bit of trust. Have a fair idea of the kind of person you're dealing with, the intentions of your relationship with the person, so you can be more relaxed about it. And don't show your face. Don't show. If you have any notable tattoos, cover it. Look, we are in the era of home videos are more popular and making a lot of money on porn sites than professionally shot porn.
Interesting.
But so for all you know, the people who are masked and doing that home video could be your favorite couple in church. Could be your pastor and the wife. No, that's the truth. But you have not. It could be your boss and his wife, or your boss and her husband. But you have no idea.
Where is the?
Because they are covered.
Where is the vibe when you are covered?
It's the mystery. The fact that it could be anybody.
The
fact that it could be anybody. Well, anyway, long distance can be very challenging, but I think that it also proves that you really want this. The fact that you are willing to do the extra work, take the extra effort to make it work, maybe it's proof that this is a person you want to really spend your life with. So to anybody in a long distance relationship, well, more grease to your elbows, because honey, I know you need that. You need it. Sometimes you're breaking down and you wish the person could hold you, but they are very far away and they can only talk to you. And that's okay, for as long as you can have that. Well, thank you so much, Isaac. Thank you, Koba. May our relationships be successful.
Amen.
May you find love again.
Amen.
And fall in love
Amen
again. That
to
one,
that.
that's working.
Amen.
And that one working. Do you like my beautiful kitchen?
Yeah.
Yes. You
love
know,
it.
we are talking from a kitchen because kitchen is the powerhouse of every home.
That's right.
That's where you are fueled. You're
That's
given
right.
the energy to go. You are given the nutrients you need to
More
go
grace
well.
to the kitchen.
Yes. So to have a beautiful kitchen like this, you need to speak with Launcher, because Launcher makes beautiful bespoke designs for your kitchens, your vanity units, your walk-in closets, your doors, your furniture, every and anything you need to make your dream home the real dream.
Have your lunch in the luncher kitchen.
You know? So talk to Launcher, okay? Details on the screen. Please be kind. I know you're a kind person. Go on YouTube, AmaSays, subscribe, like, turn on your notification, and leave a comment. Please share this video with your friends, your family, your loved ones, your enemies, everyone, honey, because we accept everybody. We accept every and anybody here. And please go on Instagram at ama_says, Facebook, AmaSays. Let's get interactive. I promise I'll respond to you.
That's right.
Cheers. Hi. Okay, another cheers, because, we drink wine here on AmaSays.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Hey.